Hello guys, my name is Colin and this is Colin Talks Crypto. Today I have a whole bunch of news for you. We're going to talk about everything from Bitcoin to Ethereum to Bitcoin Cash, EOS, and I'm going to make price predictions for all four of these coins. And the fact that I received a crazy $20,000 crypto donation from one of my viewers. And we're also going to talk about a guy who wants to buy 111 Tesla Model 3 cars paying with Bitcoin Cash. All right, guys, it is another lovely day in crypto land. Bitcoin is at $55,000. We'll take a look at that chart in a moment here. Ethereum is at $2,400. Dogecoin has been pumped up to 30 cents by none other than Elon Musk as usual. And we have Bitcoin Cash. I'm just picking out a few here, $957. Bitcoin Cash has been performing quite well lately. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later in this video. But first, let's talk about Bitcoin BTC. Now, it's been on a tear really since like October of last year. And I just want to point out the fact that we have seen 6 monthly candles. Each one of these candles is a month long in time. And we have seen 6 of them in a row, all the way back from October 2020, up. Massively up every single month. It has not had a single entire month of correction. And right now we're in a partial month, and maybe this will be the first one. We have yet to find out. We still have about 10 more days left in the month of April. We haven't really seen this much bullish action for Bitcoin in a very, very long time. And I would say that this is another indicator that we may be due for a bit of a larger and longer correction. I could see a correction playing out where it takes a number of months, like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, to actually recover back to where we are. And it might be a painful dip and then it will return. Now keep in mind that I'm not trying to say that this is the all-time high or that we just hit it. Far from it. I think that we are going to go well beyond $100,000, as I've been saying for years now about this particular bull run. We're not there yet. But I do think that these particular indicators, these 6 months of solid monthly bullish candles, as well as another indicator, the Pi Cycle Top indicator, which I covered in my last video. Check that out if you haven't seen that already. Basically, the lines crossed indicating a top. And some people were doubting the Pi Cycle Top indicator, but actually Bitcoin has taken a downturn just days after that peak was called by that indicator. And so we will see how that proves out in the future. But there's a couple of things here. It's not just the Pi Cycle Top indicator that's showing me that we may be at the peak. It's actually this 6 months of constant up without really much significant correction. So I would just say, hold on to your horses, have strong holding hands, and be ready for anything. You know, nothing goes up forever, and that includes Bitcoin. I know as hard as it may be to believe with returns like we see, Bitcoin also needs to correct. And I think that we are overdue personally. And I think that this time around, we're going to see a double top scenario, much like we saw back in 2013, where it hit $255, then it dropped down to like 95, 90 bucks, and then went all the way up to $1,150 in December. Just about 6 months later, 5 months later, I think that we are going to see a similar thing because we have gone vertical too fast. And it's not that we're at the top, it's just that it's been too rapid. So the market's probably going to correct. If it doesn't, awesome, I'm all for just more bullishness. But realistically, pragmatically speaking, I do see a further correction taking place here. And indicators like this and the Pi Cycle Top crossing recently are 2 at least that show that we may be overdue for a correction. So just something to be aware of there, guys. And I want to take a moment and just make a special thanks because someone out there has donated me, get ready for this, guys, I'm pretty blown away, $20,000 worth of Bitcoin Cash. That's right, they sent me 20 BCH tokens. I don't know who it was. I have my suspicions. Let's say their name starts with an M. But nonetheless, that was greatly appreciated. I'm almost speechless. That is totally unexpected and totally appreciated. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Bitcoin Cash is a very undervalued and overlooked cryptocurrency in my opinion. It's one of these cryptocurrencies that I think has a lot of upward price potential. And I think from this point forward in the bull run cycle, Bitcoin Cash is likely to outpace Bitcoin BTC in terms of percentage gain. So you heard it here first if that happens. If not, then just pretend I didn't say that. And one platform I want to share with you guys is Noise.cash. Noise.cash is a Twitter replacement. It's very similar to how Twitter works, but it allows you to tip in Bitcoin Cash, and it's integrated directly into the protocol. I just signed up a few days ago. I got a ton of love on different posts. And for example, I shared a post on the Colin Talks Crypto Bitcoin Bull Run Index, and I got $20 of tips right here. Look at that, guys. 20 bucks in tips on Noise.cash. Twitter doesn't offer me any tips like that. So this is really, really incredible. I mean, that's not the average price. Usually I get 20 cents or something like that, or a buck or 2 cents or 1 cent. But just the fact that I'm getting tips for tweeting essentially on Noise.cash is amazing. So I love this platform. I'm going to be posting content on Noise.cash in the future. You know, in a way, it kind of reminds me of Voice social media from EOS, except that this one actually has tips that pay you today. Like, it's already functional. We're not waiting for the Voice token to be migrated to the mainnet. Noise.cash allows you to monetize your content today. A long time ago, back during the March crash of 2020, I actually covered this chart quite frequently. This is the US Treasury Yield curve. And basically what it is the confidence in the United States treasuries, the confidence in the United States government, etc. And the curve is drawn as a line on this lower left chart here. The dots on this particular line are made up of the different time spans. So the 1 month yield has a return currently of 0.01%. How's that for a return on your investment? The 1 year yield has a 0.07% return on investment. The 2 year yield has a 0.15%, all ridiculously low percentages here, by the way. The 10 year yield has a 1.6% yield, and the 30 year yield is 2.27%. And that's this blue line right here. The year before was this line, this darker gray line, and the year before that is this lighter gray line. And you can see that 2 years ago, it was a much healthier looking trend, although still relatively flat for the different time spans involved here. Generally speaking, for a healthy environment, you would expect a much greater return for the longer time span investments. But right now, with returns as low as 0.01% and 0.03% for 1 month and 3 month US Treasury yields, it's really quite laughable. Now, I want to draw your attention to this lower right chart here. This is the historical 10-year, 1 year spread on the Treasury yield. So that's why this says 1.51%, because it's the 10 year minus the 1 year. And the reason that that's interesting is because historically speaking, every single time, without exception, that the yield curve inverted, which means that this longer time span actually returned less value to investors than the short-term time span. It means that the curve actually goes down on this chart right here. But back around July of 2019, the yield curve did invert right here. And it's indicated when this blue line drops below the horizontal red line on your screen. And you can see that it's happened a number of times. We had it back here in 2019. We had it right here, 2006, which preceded the 2008 housing crash. We had it back here in the year 2000. We had it back in 1989, and so on. And the notable thing is that every single time that the yield curve has inverted, meaning that blue line drops below the red line, it has been followed by a recession. Every single time. And I had a friend who recently, about 6 months ago, said, well, you know, Colin, just because it happened before doesn't mean it's going to happen again. And well, guess what? It did happen again. And you know, it's kind of like, how many times has it occurred consistently? Well, here's one recession. These gray bars, by the way, are the recessions in light gray here. So here's one recession right after the inversion. Here's another recession right after the inversion. Another one, 3, 4, 5 after the inversion, 6 recessions after the inversion, 7 recessions after the inversion, and here was number 8 inversion. And guess what? We are currently in a recession. It's just not marked on this graph. And every single time that the inversion has occurred, it's been followed by a recession. And so currently, look at this, it's gone vertical, just like every other time that the inversion has occurred. It's gone below the red line and then it's shot up vertical. Here's another one, below the red line, shot up vertical, etc. And we are shooting up vertical once again. So this shows me we are in a recession. And with housing prices going crazy, ballistic, like in my own neighborhood, there was a fixer-upper for like $300,000. It was a foreclosure and the bank was selling it. And it actually recently sold for $500,000. Now keep in mind, this isn't a normal house. This thing had holes in the walls. There were issues that needed fixing. All the appliances and fixtures had been taken out of it and sold. It was a bare bones kind of gutted house. And in my opinion, is not worth $500,000. And that to me is another example of an inflated market. That's a bubble. And personally speaking, I'm going to stay out of the real estate market for a little longer. I sold my home about a year ago. I made a video on that. And this is exactly why. You're not going to be able to time the markets perfectly. And it takes time to sell a house. So I'm glad that I did so, because when I start seeing huge overvaluations for property like that, they're just utterly ridiculous. Like they don't make sense. They're not grounded in fact. That's when I know we're in a housing bubble, and we are also in a recession. So I expect there to be some major economic downturns in the next 1 to 2 years. Typically, there's a delay of about 1 to 3 years between the yield curve inverting and the recession being felt. There's actually a delay in how long it takes to trickle down through society. And so right now, I think we've seen the first year or so of that, and we're just waiting for the effects to be felt. And with this evidence of housing prices going astronomical and the yield curve going like vertical right here, I think that it's only a matter of time and not much more of it before we do see some major economic downturns. So right now I'm hoarded on cryptocurrencies. I'm staying out of the real estate market, and I'm getting ready to weather the storm. And for me, that means taking profits at the top of the bull run, putting some into cash, putting some into gold, and just kind of being ready for a multitude of situations, because I think that as much as the media would like to portray that the economy is doing well, I think that is anything but well. I think we have a very, very sick economy right now, and it's being bolstered up by inflated money supply and unlimited asset purchases by the Fed. The stock market is an utter and complete joke and a bubble, and it's going to come tumbling down, I think, in the next year or two, easily. Maybe sooner, maybe a little later, but I'm going to make sure that I'm positioned correctly for that. Okay, guys, so I just wanted to bring you up to date on kind of the legacy markets with that particular chart. And now we'll jump back into the crypto world. And so CBBI is the Colin Talks Crypto Bitcoin Bull Run Index. And this is an index that shows how much confidence we have that we are at the peak. And we just unveiled this a few days ago. And already by day number 2, we had received almost 6,000 unique visitors in a single day on this site. So it's been a tremendous success. Thank you so much for liking and sharing this with your friends and helping others more accurately estimate the peak for this upcoming bull run. And if you want to dive deep on what this is showing, please go to the menu here. This site is cbbi.info, a real easy domain, and click on this first video about CBBI, and it will educate you fully. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time here regurgitating a bunch of information I already shared last video. But a big shout out to Camille for the developing aspect of this site, truly talented guy. And he also wants to express his thanks and great appreciation for all the donations you guys have been making. We have actually received quite a few donations to these addresses down here. We got Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Binance Coin, and EOS. And I think that they've all basically received donations at this point. Quite a bit of love from the community. And we are not charging for this platform at all. This is 100% donated to the community. So it is really appreciated, your support financially, to help us keep our interest and show that it is desired by the community. So thank you very much, guys. And on the subject of donations, now that we have received some tips to these various addresses down here, I do want to just dive into that subject a little bit here, just to show you kind of what we already know, but like to really hone it into earth, like what it means to a real person that receives a tip. So first of all, this is our shared Bitcoin donation address. We split all the donations 50-50, Camille, the developer, and myself, the creator of the CBBI index. But take a look at some of these donations, which thank you so much, guys. You guys are so awesome. But look at the fees on these things. So here's one guy, he sent us $9.21. Thank you, whoever you are. And then guess what the fee was? $3.02. So a third of the entire tip was gobbled up by fees. Now check it out. Here's another one. They sent us $100 for a tip. You guys are so awesome for doing that. Whoever you are, thank you so much. The fee was $21, 1/5 of the entire transaction. So that really hurts as a creator who wants to make something for others, but he had to pay $21 almost just to send us that tip. And here's the worst one of all. This guy sent us $4.57. Thank you so much. You're awesome, whoever you are. The fee was $16.70. He paid almost 4x the fee that he did in actual tip. I'm guessing he wanted to send just 20 bucks and he just put 20 bucks in his wallet and then it took the fee out of that. Well, guess what? That just took like over 75% of our tip and it went to miners instead of to the actual destination. So to me, that shows that something's not working here. And we can get into the debate of whether that's right or not. I don't like that. When someone's trying to send me money and it gets gobbled up by fees, that's really painful. Just as a human to human interaction, trying to make something for the world, trying to make the world a better place with a Bitcoin bull run index, getting some tips, and then 75% of that one goes to somewhere else. Now let's take a look at another one. This is our Bitcoin Cash tipping address. And as usual, Bitcoin Cash has super, super low fees, basically always under a cent. This guy combined 109 inputs into one donation of 60 cents. So he paid 17 cents fee. That's probably overpaying actually. But let's look at some normal transactions here. This guy sent us 10 cents and it costs less than 1 cent fee. This guy sent us $4.94 of Bitcoin Cash and it cost less than 1 cent fee, which is amazing. Less than 1 penny to send $5. That's what I'm talking about. This guy sent us $4.17. By the way, thank you. And thank you to all of you. And it costs less than 1 cent fee. Here's $5.27 tip, and it costs a 1 cent fee. That is the kind of tipping service that I look for. That's the kind of blockchain performance that I love. And unfortunately, as much as I love Ethereum, right now it's in a similar boat where its fees are excruciatingly high. We have examples like this one where the user sent us $255. Like, thank you. I'm going to give you a bow on camera for that amazing donation from both Camille and myself. And the fee on that was $11. That's pretty high to send $255. That's about 0.5% of fee right there. It's still a lot better than it would have been probably for Bitcoin, but still, that's painful. But thank you for that huge donation. Here's a worse one. Here's a $60 tip and it's $8.20 transaction fee. And here's the worst yet. $21 or $20 sent to us and $10 of that was a fee. So half of our tip got gobbled up by fees. I would have much rather Camille and myself were able to split that amongst each other. That could have been done on Bitcoin Cash or EOS or some of these other blockchains, but some blockchains with super high fees right now are taking the cut out of those who are the rightful intended recipient of those donations. So I just wanted to bring that to your awareness. And I made this site here. This is colintalkscrypto.com/BTC fees. If you go to that address, you will see this. And basically it shows that currently the Bitcoin median fee is $27 to make it into the next block. So to be able to do a Bitcoin transaction and have your fee only be 1% of that particular transaction, you have to spend $2,697. If you want your fee to be only 0.5%, you have to spend almost $5,400, $5,400 you have to spend just to get your Bitcoin fee down to 0.5%. That is pretty outrageous. So here we go. Currently, Bitcoin Cash has a next block fee of 0.5%, and Bitcoin BTC has $38.80 to get into that next block. And the median fee for Bitcoin Cash is 0.25 cents. And for Bitcoin Core, the median fee is $26.84. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And it affects people like myself. So one last thing on the subject of fees. This is a lifetime chart of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. And I just want to show you the difference here. So let's zoom in. And this encompasses the last Bitcoin bull run of $20,000, at which point we had reached a high of about $55 transaction fee for the average cost to send a BTC transaction. And currently we have just set a new world's record. Yay, guys, congratulations. We have hit $60. It's higher than it was in 2017. And I called this actually in my interview with Roger Ver. I said that I think that we're going to see higher average transaction fees than we have seen even in 2017. And we have just seen that. And to make matters worse, we're not even at the all-time high yet. We're already higher than the previous Bitcoin highest average fee, but we have a long ways to go in the bull run. So I think we're going to see hundreds of dollars average transaction fee for the Bitcoin blockchain. That is extremely painful. That basically means that someone like myself and Camille, a 20-year-old from Poland who wants to make some passive income from donations, won't be able to do so with Bitcoin being its tipping service. Because who's going to tip me more than a couple $100 and have a couple $100 come out of it in a fee? Even if you wanted to send me $100, which is an enormously large tip, if you had $50 come out of that right now, or $60 come out of that right now, that means I get 40 bucks. That's ridiculous. That's ludicrous. That means it's not worth it. And that's a stupid system. So anyways, this is a shout out to Bitcoin Cash right here with an average transaction fee of cents compared to $60 for Bitcoin. I just want that to sink in because it's utterly unbelievable and it's actually unacceptable. And I will be the first to say that out there with a few others who are brave enough to say that, like Kim.com or Roger Ver. These guys are absolutely correct. It is unacceptable to have fees that high on the internet of money. And I don't care what you say about security and blah, like you can secure your network and charge less than $60 per transaction. You should be able to do it for cents. And I know it's possible. This is an innovation that's supposed to be groundbreaking. It's not supposed to be another recreation of the legacy rip-off financial system where you pay like $20 with Western Union to wire some money overseas to your family that needs that money so much. Well, right now you can't even do that with Bitcoin because that same money sent to your family overseas to try to help them out is going to have $60 or $20 taken right off the top. And so to me, that's not helping mankind very much. It is helping people like Michael Saylor, who already have billions of dollars, or Elon Musk, but we want to help the world. At least if you're a good person, you want to help the world. Okay, guys, so let's move on to something else. This is the amount of Bitcoin currently wrapped up in layer 2 on Ethereum, and it's at new all-time highs. And so as of today, we have reached just under 200,000 Bitcoin locked up in DeFi on Ethereum and other smart contract platforms. And I forget the price of Bitcoin right now. Let's say it's $58,000. So that means that there is currently $11.6 trillion locked up of Bitcoin locked up on smart contract platforms, mostly Ethereum and DeFi. That's pretty cool. And speaking of funds being locked up, which can be a good thing, especially when it reduces the liquid token supply of a currency, for Ethereum specifically, right now what you're looking at is the amount of Ethereum locked up in Ethereum 2.0. And that has steadily been climbing, and that's indicated by this blue shaded area down here. And currently we are at 3.9 million Ethereum locked up. And so let's do some math on that. We take 3.9 million times the price of approximately $3,400 per ETH, and we have $13.26 trillion locked up in Ethereum 2.0. So that's awesome, not only for the confidence being instilled in the future of Ethereum and the new blockchain Ethereum 2.0, but also it means that that much less Ethereum is liquid in the Ethereum 1.0 chain, which personally, as someone who wants to take some profits this bull run, I think that's incredibly exciting. That means that the price has a greater and greater potential to shoot up as less and less ETH is liquid on exchanges. All right, guys, and moving on to something kind of cool. This man here wants to buy 111 Tesla Model 3 cars, and he wants to pay with Bitcoin Cash, and he's pretty adamant. So let us play this and see what he has to say.
Okay, Elon, you saw my license plate? Let me just say this. If you are going to accept Bitcoin Cash as a payment from my phone to your phone, or to Tesla's phone, or to Tesla's wallet, let's say, then I'm hereby officially committing to buy 111 Tesla Model 3s. Yes, you heard me right. 111 Tesla Model 3s. Personal commitment. Okay? No joke. But
okay, no joke. This guy's serious. I believe him. He's going to buy 111 Tesla Model 3s. And I believe him because he's freaking genius. This guy is like a master strategist. Because if he holds enough Bitcoin Cash tokens, which I have verified that he does, I don't know the exact amount, but you'll see his reply here in a second. Basically what happens is if Elon Musk tweets about Bitcoin Cash, the same thing's going to happen that happens with everything Elon Musk tweets about, whether it's Dogecoin or something else. He gets enormous traction, and the price of Bitcoin Cash would undoubtedly skyrocket. It would probably at least double. And so because this guy owns so much Bitcoin Cash, it would actually more than pay for itself. And actually, I got a little insider info here, and he has enough Bitcoin Cash that apparently this would make it worth 10 times 111 vehicles, which is over 1,000 cars. He would be able to afford that much just by the fact of Elon Musk tweeting out about Bitcoin Cash. And so I asked him about this. I said he was genius for his idea, and I said he was very genius for this idea, very clever and intelligent marketing. And he said to me, "Hi, Colin, you got it. If he takes the Bitcoin Cash price, it will double." And I said to him, "You know that Elon's action of mentioning Bitcoin Cash will also pump the price of Bitcoin." And I said, you know that Elon's action of mentioning BCH will also pump the price of Bitcoin Cash, thereby, and I said, "You know that Elon's action of mentioning Bitcoin Cash will also pump the price of BCH, therefore making it even easier for you to purchase 111 Tesla Model 3s. And if you hold enough Bitcoin Cash, then you may even turn a profit on the whole thing. Clever, clever." And he replied and he said, "Hi, Colin, you got it. If he takes Bitcoin Cash, price will double. The profit alone is enough to pay for 10 times 111 Teslas. Also, this is actually a serious business deal. I have been working quietly on a brand new project during entire 2020. This is the reason I did not make any videos. By the way, your channel is amazing. I watch all of your videos. Once I can fly again, I'll be visiting you. Maybe he's coming to Puerto Rico. That'd be cool. Hey, we can have a meal together or something like that. We can drive our Tesla Model 3s up and have a meal. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. So let's see what happens. Let's see if Elon Musk responds to this. Let's see if he accepts Bitcoin Cash. It's a very clever marketing strategy, if nothing else. And the price of 111 Tesla Model 3s in Australia, which is where he is, runs a little higher. They're 48,000 each in Australia. That's about $5 million. That's about $5 million worth of Bitcoin Cash. I don't know what business would willfully turn down that kind of sales. I mean, it doesn't cost nearly that much to hire someone to add Bitcoin Cash to your storefront so that you can accept that $5 million for those 111 cars. And by the way, this guy says that it's just the start. If this is successful, it could be the start of 1,000 cars or 10,000 cars to come. So really, it's in Elon's best interest to accept it, and it's in this guy's best interest for Elon to accept it. It's a win-win in both regards. So let's see what happens. Let's see if this guy gets his way. And maybe it'll start the beginning of a new wave of getting Elon to accept cryptos so that it can pump their own coin. That'd be kind of... I wonder if this will start a wave. I wonder if this will start a new wave of getting Elon to accept your crypto, to buy his cars, to pump your coin's price. Seems like that's the trend we're starting to see here. It all started with Doge. And lastly, I want to talk about EOS. Right now, you're looking at the EOS BTC chart. It has had a very rough ride. It skyrocketed in value all the way to about 2019, and then from that point forward, it's basically been downtrending. But there has been a change in sentiment and in technical analysis, and I want to show you that. I'm also going to show you the Ethereum chart here. This is the zoomed out Ethereum chart. Ever since the ICO ended in 2017, it saw a peak on the Ethereum chart around 2018, and then ever since that year, for the last 3 years, it's been downtrending. But I recently repurchased back into all my EOS tokens. I did that about a month ago, and I explained in my last EOS video why I was doing that. And I'm just going to show you what has happened since then. So I bought back in right about here where the mouse cursor is, and I bought back in using Ethereum, so it makes sense for me to show you the Ethereum chart first. And so I bought back in here, and the reason I did that is because I noticed that the floor was higher than before, and we have just hit a new higher floor, although we broke through that support. But I anticipate that we're going to hit resistance actually before we even get down to this line, and we're going to bounce back up yet again. There's just too much pent-up energy in the EOS ETH and the EOS BTC trading pair right now. There's too much oversold territory, and that is the reason why it is shooting back up. I noticed a lot of hateful comments toward EOS. I bought back in purely on technical analysis, but it is honestly the best blockchain to use. It really is super easy. I would say that Bitcoin Cash and EOS are the most user-friendly and the most pleasant and lowest fee blockchains to use, hands down, that I personally invest in. And so I have bought back in mid-March, and I'm very happy that I did so because it has been increasing in value relative to the token that I purchased it with, which was Ethereum. And so I expect this trend to continue. I expect us to actually regain a lot of the lost ground. I don't know exactly how much lost ground we'll make. I don't know if we'll ever exceed this all-time high here, but honestly, even if it just shoots up from where it's at, it's going to be positive profits for me. And so I think that we're still kind of early as far as the scale of this. You really have to step back and look at the magnitude of the trading move that this is. I mean, this is an enormous play. And so right now we're only like a few months into the rebound and the reversion of the direction of this trade. And you can see that it's also backed up by an enormous amount of volume. It was kind of asleep for a few years here in terms of trading volume, and it has shot upward. So now that we've looked at the Ethereum chart compared with EOS, let's look at the Bitcoin chart compared with EOS. And again, it has had a massive 2 years of just downtrending. But I do strongly feel that not only with the massive increase in trading volume, but also just, again, the TA, the technical analysis of this. You know, we bottomed out right here in March, but it has been rebounding off this lower level multiple times. And then we shot up and made a low that was a new local high. And honestly, I don't think we're ever going to go back down. I don't think we're ever going to again see a low where my mouse cursor is right here, 0.000069. I think that that is a price of the past, and it's uptrending from this point forward because we're making new highs, at least on a short-term time span. And there's just, again, far too much pent-up pressure. This is an enormous play. And those of you who hate on EOS, you know, sure, it's had some bad experiences in the past, but now it's got the power-up model, and so making transactions can be done with a fee, just like on Ethereum. So you should never, again, run into a difficulty making a transaction using EOS because it's now a fee-based blockchain, and you can rent resources for like a month for pennies or a fraction of a penny. It's super cheap. It's super fast. It's actually one of the fastest blockchains out there, and it has smart contracts. So to me, it's highly undervalued, and I think that it's going to take a moonshot upward. I would not be surprised to see it go right to here, easily, to 0.0006 of a Bitcoin when priced in Bitcoin. And that is a huge 5x up from where it is currently. And that's not priced in US dollars, that's priced in Bitcoin. And so let's leave off this video with some price predictions. For this particular bull run peak, I'm going to give you each of these 4 different cryptos. For Bitcoin, I think that we're going to see anywhere from 100